Next time on a very spooky fine dining podcast, the season 1 finale, TGI Fridays the 13th. Oh, you betcha, pineapple's gonna hit the fan as Michael's son Juicy, or in this episode, Juice's son Voorhees, goes on a murderous rampage, and no one is safe. It gets real spooky, it gets real bloody, and not everyone's gonna make it to the end of the episode. Who will live, who will die? Listen to Fine Dining, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America, break down a trip to TGI Fridays based on the atmosphere, the service, and the food, and try not to be scared to death. Hear the thrilling finale of Fine Dining, Wednesday, October 25th, wherever you get your podcasts.
Nurses, train drivers, postal workers, let me ask you this. How would you like it if we opinion columnists went on strike? How would you cope with that? I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon, and this is Non-Censored. Hello and welcome to Non-Censored, the best bits from my very real daily radio show, which is on exactly the radio station you think it is. I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon, and I'm joined as ever by producer Martin. Martin, what was your favourite bit of the week?
Oh, well, for me, it's always when I get to go to my big supermarket on a Wednesday. I like to get out there, see what the deals are saying. I think if you nip in at about 5-ish, you can get some discounts. Those little yellow stickers of quality, right. I call them. Yeah, it's always a bit of fun. I'm out on my own. I just listen to my favourite music, and that's probably been my best bit of the week so far.
No, Martin, best bit of the show this week?
Oh, right, yes, of course. Well, I mean, we had Rachel Parris on the show, of course. Very exciting to have her on here. And, we had a call in from Margaret from Cornwall, giving us a little bit of her opinion on cycle lanes.
Yes, but as ever, there was stuff we just didn't have time for. We cancelled all our World Cup coverage, all of it. Didn't see any point now England are out.
Yes, I mean, you'd just be watching the best sportsman in history. What would be the point of that?
Exactly. We also had a brilliant piece about Twitter, but it sadly gave away the location of Twitter HQ, and Elon Musk asked us to delete it.
Yes, I'm not sure that is what doxing means, but I know your blue tick is very important to you, and we don't want to lose that.
Let's kick off with the strikes. Now, we had a series of fascinating phone calls this week, didn't we, Martin?
Yes, very interesting. I'm not sure exactly quite what happened there, but we certainly got an opinion.
And apologies to Mick Lynch for reasons which will become apparent. In a moment, we are going to be speaking to Mick Lynch, but before we do, we wanted to speak to someone who works for the railways, and I think we've got Alison on the line. Hello, Alison.
Hi, Harriet. Yeah, it's me. It's Alison.
Alison, where are you calling from today?
I'm actually calling from Southend.
Oh, brilliant. Wonderful. Now, Alison, I believe you work in the railway business.
That's right. Yes, I do snacks.
Right. And are you striking?
No, I'm not. I'm actually not part of the RMT. Originally, I was. I thought they did good work. There was a lot of pressure to join, but I have to tell you, I'm on £75,000 a year. Oh. I think it would be nothing more than greed for me to strike and ask for more. And I know that might not be popular, but I had to come on and say that. I'm on a very good salary, and I'm very grateful to the railway snack industry for...
What do you actually do in snacks, Alison, if you don't mind us asking?
Snacks on trains.
You
snacks on trains.
Snacks,
right.
Martin.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
You can get
Quavers.
tea,
I've been
little bottles of champagne.
There's like pumpkin as well. That's one of them, isn't it? Oh, it's Tracker Bar, sure.
Well, Alison, I think that's very brave of you, because I imagine the peer pressure is immense. They're just forcing everyone to go on strike, whether they want to or not.
Yes, yeah, and I'm aware you're about to speak to Mick Lynch, but I just wanted to put my point of view across.
Thank you. No, it's important to hear it from all sides, and that's what we do on this programme. Bless you, Alison.
Thank you very much, Harriet. Thank you.
Actually, that makes me think. I know we've got Mick Lynch on the line, Martin, but I want to hear from a nurse. We've got a nurse in the little phone waiting room, surely?
Yes, yeah, sure. I can just patch them through that.
Hello. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, I'm Alison, a nurse.
Oh, Alison. We've just had an Alison. Where are you speaking from?
I'm from Foulness Island.
Alison from Foulness Island. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining the show. So you're a nurse?
Yes.
Now, are you currently on strike?
No, I'm not. I'm actually, I was part of the nurses' union. I've been a nurse for 30 years in nursing, and I was part of the nurses' union, but I left because it just seemed to be a bit of a girls' club. And I mean, I have to tell you, I know that nurses are striking because they're saying that the pay has not matched the rate of inflation now for a number of years. But I'm actually on £100,000 a year as a nurse, as a nurse. So I didn't feel that it would be right for me to strike.
Yeah, and I imagine that's quite standard pay for a nurse, isn't it?
It's not the starting rate, but once you've been doing it for 25, 30 years, then that is what you can expect.
Could
That's the lower end.
What it is that you do in the nursing profession? Just it might help our listeners understand the sort of different roles that people play and why so many do feel the need to strike.
Yeah. So hospitals.
Yes.
I do it in one of those.
Oh.
In Foulness Island.
It's a hospital nursing.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Could I just ask where is Foulness Island?
It's quite near Southend.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Martin. Let's not interrogate her. She's not a witness.
I mean, just trying to get the information.
Alison, bless you. I wish you all the best. Stay strong. And
thank you, and thank you for just letting me say my piece, because I just think there's a lot of greed out there.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Alison.
Yeah. Now, look, sorry, Martin, I really feel we're on a roll here. So instead of, I know we've got Mick Lynch, we will get to him, but do we have anyone, a teacher we could speak to?
We do. We have got a teacher on the line here. Mick Lynch is getting a little aggravated on the other line. I can just tell you that much. We probably
he likes that though, doesn't he?
Okay, I'll put them through now.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Hi, I'm Alison.
Alison, hello. Hi. Alison, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Shopland.
Shopland, wonderful. Alison from Shopland. First time caller?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, Alison, I believe you're a teacher. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, I teach in schools.
Wait, I mean, I'm sorry, Alison. Can I just check this? You haven't phoned in already today, have you?
No.
No, she said she's a first time caller, Martin.
Shopland's near Southend.
It's two L's.
Shopland with...
It's two L's in Alison. Shopland's just one.
Alison, have you just phoned in twice in a row? Alison?
No.
Alison, I'm being serious now. Do you have three phones?
No, it's two L's in Alison. My name's got two L's.
Different Alison.
Have you phoned in three times?
Let's let Alison speak, please, Martin.
Thank you. I'm a teacher in schools. That's where they work. And I'm actually not part of the teachers' union. When I initially became a teacher, on a very good starting salary, I should say, I was part of the teachers' union, but I had to leave because there was a bit of an atmosphere. And I mean, I have to tell you, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching in the profession for a long time, and I'm on £125,000 a year. I think that's a good salary. I don't know what world.
I think it's a great salary.
That's not an unstandard teacher's salary. You can expect to find teachers on a lot more than that. And I think there's a lot of bandwagon jumping with these strikes that are being planned. And I will not be doing it. I just believe in teaching and what we do. so I won't
Alison,
do
what
it.
do you teach?
Sorry.
What do you teach,
bless
Alison?
you. Bless you.
Alison, what do you teach?
Children.
I think that's beautiful. I think, Alison,
Mm.
and also you just look at some of these teachers and I just think, clearly you aren't, but I look at them and I go, sorry, are they just greedy and lazy? Is that what the
That's
problem is?
it.
They don't want to work, they just want more money when they get so much.
I mean, I'd like 6 weeks paid holiday every summer, wouldn't you? And I get it because I'm a teacher.
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Alison, thank you so much for coming on the show. All the best.
Thank you.
Martin, I know we've got Mick Lynch on the line, but I just want to speak to one more striker.
Okay, I'll put her through right now. Here you go.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Hi, Harriet. It's Alison.
Alison. Hello, Alison. Alison,
I've got one L and two N's.
What do you do? What's your job?
That's very specific.
I actually
Right.
work for the post office, where you posting stuff. I work
wonderful.
for them.
Are you striking at the moment?
I'm actually not. No. When I first joined the post office.
Right. Yeah. No. Interesting.
I know. And when I joined the post office, we were very encouraged.
You were part of the union, weren't you, Alison?
Yeah. But
Too much of a boys with shorts on.
No, yeah, a little bit actually, because that's what we were, and I didn't feel that I belonged in there. It felt like an awful lot of talk went on there that I didn't like, so I left the union. I'm a post office staff person from Ballard's Gore.
Yeah.
What do you do, Alison?
I'm a postal office worker. I work for the post
letters, Martin.
And how much you want?
I'm on £1 million a year. So why would I strike?
Right.
£1 million.
It would be very
right,
lazy and greedy to strike.
Why
is
were
what I'm
they
saying.
striking?
That's postal.
Okay.
Well, listen,
salary.
Alison, thank you so much for coming on. All the best. Keep
Thank you.
standing strong against those,
Good luck with the
against those
post.
strikers trying to pull you into their
Stay away
Yeah,
from
well,
the
I'm going
dogs.
to deliver everyone's post in Ballard's Gore today because I owe it to them to have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks so much,
Great.
Alison. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Martin, I don't know why you keep taking over these interviews. I am supposed to be the interviewer here, okay? I know how to do it, okay? I know. I do my due diligence as a journalist, so can you just remember that, please? Can we just have Mick Lynch on now, please?
He hung up a long time ago. Probably about halfway through the second, Alison, to be honest.
Well, that's probably fine, isn't it? We know what he was going to say. It's the same old thing. We also heard from one of our regular listeners. Oh, Martin, she was such a joy, wasn't she?
Oh, yes, a wonderful little interaction with Margaret, who's always trying to get through, but thankfully we don't always let her on.
Absolute joy. Let's have a listen. So I'm joined on the line by Margaret. Margaret, hello, welcome to the show. You're through to us.
Hello, Harriet. I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. Always good to get a fan on. Now, Margaret, what are you calling in about today?
I'm ringing in about the local village. It has become untenable as a pedestrian or a driver. I don't drive, but I'm on the side of drivers. There are cycle lanes, left, right, centre, Harriet.
Everywhere.
You wouldn't recognise the road if you saw it.
Oh, goodness.
Three cycle lanes in on the same road. Is that right?
Yes, 2 on one side, 1 in the middle. No, there's more. There's several. There's so many that I can see. It looks like Spaghetti Junction. But
Margaret, where is this? This sounds absolutely hideous.
This is Reading.
Right.
Right. Okay, is there a chance that you might just be in a designated cycle superhighway? I mean, it sounds like...
Don't talk to me about cycle superhighways. They're the bane of my life. But they're everywhere. They're on main roads. They're on country roads. They're in the cycle superhighways. They're in parks. They're in gardens. They're in schools. They're everywhere. Cyclists can go wherever they like.
Do you feel that cars and drivers of cars have become a minority now?
Of course.
Yes.
They're the victims, Harriet.
Oh, my goodness.
Persecuted
Yes.
by the cyclists. And, every time I see a cyclist having right of way, they're always laughing. They're laughing at you, looking at you, mocking, because they know they've won.
And do they actually laugh? I mean, are they actually laughing, or are they
They tip their head back going,
It does sound a little cruel and malicious. I mean, no one likes to be laughed at, especially while in a high-speed vehicle.
Exactly, Martin. Martin, I'm not a fan of yours, but sometimes you do say the right thing. I will say that for you.
He does have his moments, Margaret.
Thank you.
I understand, Harriet, that it is nice to have a man doing the official technical side of things on the show.
Oh, yes. I mean, I don't understand all of that, I need him in there to do that, to press all the little buttons.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, it is nice to talk to you, Harry. I'm such a fan of yours. There's not many women you can look up to in this life.
Thank you.
But
yes.
It's you and Thatcher, and that's it.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, thank you. Well, that means a lot. That means a lot. Thank you, and listen, thank you for raising awareness about this issue, because I had no idea things had got that bad.
So bad, Harry, and it's not just where I live; it's everywhere, all over the country.
Oh my goodness!
It's going to be like soon. There'll be no cars. There'll be no cars, and people will just walk or cycle. And what will happen then to the world?
Oh.
I suppose everyone will be laughing wherever they go, probably because
because we've traditionally been a car country. We've been a car country.
We are. Britain relies on it. How are we going to get up to go anywhere else?
Well, exactly, Margaret.
We can't drive.
No.
Train? No, thank you. They're striking anyway. Don't get started on that.
Yes, no, do you know what? I think you're right, traitors. Margaret, thank you so much for calling in. You've been a star. And
do drive safely.
And Margaret,
thank you.
If you see one of those cyclists laughing at you, you know what you should do? You should point at them and laugh right back.
Oh, thank you, Harriet. I'll do that, but I'll push them over.
Okay. I don't know if we can
and do that,
encourage that, but
I'll push them over. Thank you, Harriet. You're a lovely girl.
Thank you, Margaret.
Take care. Bye. Oh, wait. Sorry. Can I say something about Jewish people?
Now, our interview this week was with Rachel Parris, an English comedian, musician, actress and presenter, and she's most known for hosting the satirical news show Late Night MASH. Always good to have a satirist on, I suppose, isn't it, Martin?
Oh, yes. Nice to see their unique take on how the world works, and also to offer a little bit of support for those who feel they might be trapped in less than ideal relationships.
Oh, ridiculous. Rachel Parris, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Now, for those who don't know you, you're a comedian, a performer, a satirist, and you shot to viral stardom with a video about how easy it is to not sexually harass anyone. I hope you don't mind me saying, can I just say that I disagree?
Right, so you think that it is difficult to not sexually harass people?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just saying that I often don't know whether it was a cheeky bit of banter or an outrageous assault until I know which party they're an MP for.
Well, I understand that there is grey area, but I think that the grey area has always existed. I think that's really important to say. I do think for the sake of comedy, we made it like there's no grey area, it's black and white. And it's not. It is nuanced.
Yes,
but I think the problem is that women have always known about the nuance. And perhaps now we're asking that everyone understands nuance. It's a bit more effortful.
But also, we don't want to tear a good man down, do we?
Oh.
I look at my husband, Jonathan, who's been having a really hard time at work, Rachel.
Is he a good man, Harriet?
Oh, he's such a good man. Basically, he got in trouble because some wokey little work, I don't know, whatever you call them, experienced people, accused him of fondling her bottom. And the thing is with Jonathan is he's just affectionate, you know? He's just affectionate. And that's the thing, isn't it?
He's affectionate towards a certain demographic in the office, or at least they were the allegations. I mean, I don't know if there's any truth in them. There is some CCTV footage, but
sorry, Martin, what are you, sort of police chief against my husband now?
No, I was just coming out with
spying on him.
I wasn't spying on him.
See, this is another thing, Rachel. You have other men trying to tear good men down, you know, because of jealousy.
I think that's what we call men being allies. Actually, I mean, I would say what you say about your husband being affectionate, I think the question is, would he touch the bum of his male colleagues? I assume that he's heterosexual only from what you've told me so far. Of course he's heterosexual. Yeah, in which case I wonder if perhaps when you say he's affectionate, that's not universal to general affection. It is mainly to perhaps young women who are in a lack of power in his company.
Well, I don't know. I think you show affection in different ways, don't you? And I think if you're a man, you share affection with other men by, drinking beer and thumping your chest.
Yeah. Does he thump his chest?
Well, I haven't seen him thump his chest, but
I have. He does thump his chest sometimes.
Right. Yes. See, when he's men on men, I think it's very chest thumpy.
But he does tend to keep the affection away from the bottom area, which I, usually respect. But clearly, that's spilled out, into some fondling.
All I'm saying is that it's hard, isn't it? Because sometimes you look at sexual assault and you go, yes, but who is doing the supposed assaulting? Because I think that'll tell you a lot.
Well, I understand the question, but I think the answer is the person who is doing the assault.
Right.
Yeah, that does seem to make should be quite simple to understand.
I think it sounds a bit
for
much,
example,
really.
What I mean is in the case of your husband and this, I assume, intern.
Yes.
Was it an intern or is she just a female member of his company?
I don't know. She's just a little worky thing. Little womany workforce person.
So a female colleague.
I think it might have been.
Well, we all have different names for it, don't we?
Sure. Yeah. So I think in his case, it sounds like he was the one doing the assault because he's the one who touched her on the bottom without her consent.
Yeah, but I could stroke someone's hair without their consent. That's fine, isn't it? That's just being nice.
No, not always, actually. It really depends on the context. Again, it's this sort of nuance, isn't it?
Oh, goodness.
Like if it's a friend and you're just having a nice chat and you're close to each other and you know each other, then that would be fine. But I think if you were, a member of the royal household and you approached a guest,
right,
and you moved their dreadlocks aside without their consent, then it's not assault, but it is an affront.
Do you know what, Rachel? It goes back to the same thing. Who's doing it? And if it's a little old lady who's moving your hair, then I'm sorry, but that's fine. Let the old ladies have their rights. That's what I say. I'm just for human rights of old ladies.
Old ladies
know what,
just
that
want
is
to have
hard
fun.
to argue with.
Really?
Yeah.
They do. Bless them. They do. They just want to have fun. I mean, she's 83. Do you know what I mean?
She's 83.
It's just awful.
I do hear you with that. It can be hard to change people's minds once they reach a certain age.
Yeah.
I think it's also, Harriet does have a point about there being a grey area certain times. I mean, some people might view the relationship that we have in the workplace as as an abusive one. I mean, yes, I get shouted at. Yes,
say that.
I have names called at me and items thrown at me, but you just need to know more about the context, don't you? There's a respect there.
And come on, Martin, that's just passion, goes from a long line of people, from Dominic Raab to Priti Patel, people who are just passionate and care about their jobs.
Right. I am hearing quite a lot of flags connected to coercive control here, Harriet.
Flags.
Martin, do you feel safe in the workplace?
Safe. Well, no, but there's always a risk.
Ridiculous.
There's always a risk. You can't, if you feel safe in the place that you work. I mean, if you're not sweating, thinking, is someone going to shout at me? Am I going to be thrown down a set of stairs?
What I'm going to do, Martin, I'm just contacting a couple of charities.
Oh, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. Sorry, Rachel, this is the problem. You're from a sort of very wokey little tribe, and what you're saying here, I'm afraid it absolutely reeks of woke. It reeks of it.
But, interestingly, Harry, I'm not from a wokey tribe. My parents are conservative. I had education from the establishment. I had every opportunity to go down a more right-wing route, but I think it's important to just own the political choices that you make. You're not destined to any of them.
Well, Rachel...
So you could still change. You could still change your mind, Harriet.
You were, though. You were as part of the woke BBC when you did the MASH report. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
I think what I want to look at really is, obviously, in the MASH report, you were constrained by the BBC and its very sort of wokey bias. But now you're at Dave, so you don't need to do that anymore, Rachel. You can make jokes about what people really think.
I mean, the one thing to say, the BBC did get rid of me.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be on my side, Harriet. The BBC got rid of me.
I think, look, the BBC is very woke. There's too much wokeism going on there. And I think it's wonderful because the government are trying to take control of the BBC because it's got very out of control. And, of course, they've now got that wonderful man who's in there, who did work at Downing Street. And now he's...
The one that Emily Maitlis talked about.
That's the one, yes. Won't be Emily Maitlis. Yes.
Yeah.
And so maybe his one bit of hurrah, his little hurrah, was, no offence, but, cleaning out the wokey riffraff.
Like me?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I hate him. I think he's bad news.
He's doing the government's work, trying to clean out the BBC, make it more even-handed. And how even, you can only be even-handed when you get rid of the one lefty comedy programme. Get rid of it,
In terms of speaking the truth at Dave, I think you've slightly misunderstood the mission of Dave as a channel. I don't know that they're up for kind of crusading, political crusades.
Well, you need to tell them to sort it out. Rachel, you need to take Dave in hand. You need to tell them that they're going against GB News. GB News are rising like a phoenix from the ashes of Andrew Neil every day, bigger and better.
Like a very sickly phoenix.
One new audience member every day, I heard.
Yes, exactly. It's not a sickly phoenix. That's
exponential growth.
Yes, that's a phoenix with rather heavy wings who's taking its time getting up there, but it's getting up there.
Yeah, a phoenix whose wings are heavy because they're slick with crude oil from Shell.
That's wonderful. I mean, I wouldn't say Shell.
I've gone more woke than I am here.
Do you know why? That's because the woke bias from the BBC is catching up with you.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Look, I'd love to be back on the BBC. This conversation is quite difficult because I feel very hurt and I miss it so much. And I used to be like, I went to the BBC 100 party of new talent for the BBC, and they've never invited me back, and they haven't commissioned any of the pictures. The pictures that I've made for them.
Rachel,
and they don't talk to me. Yeah,
don't be upset.
Rachel,
please.
Listen to me, my love. It looks as though the BBC is getting taken over by the right people, by the government, which means that I'll soon be able to use the little revolving door between the media and the government, and I'll just be able to pop in there and say, I'll give her a chance.
I just want to have a show on the BBC.
Okay, Rachel, I actually have something that might cheer you up. Actually, it's a fun little game, and it plays to your strengths. I mean, I know you're a broadcaster, but you do a lot of improvisation as well. So I thought maybe we could pitch. I could throw you some ideas for a segment that either you could put in one of your shows, or maybe we could incorporate into our show. Okay, so I've just got the title of a segment. I don't know what would happen in it, but here it goes. Okay, so maybe you could throw some ideas at me. Okay, so this first one's called "And Another Thing," and I thought maybe we're just having a conversation. Then we go on to, you could turn to the camera and say "And another thing," and then just talk about a different.
Am I Columbo in this scenario?
Well, you could be. I did take that one from Columbo.
I'd like that more. I'd like it if I was Columbo and I was wearing a beige jacket and I had a cigar.
Okay, well that's that one done. I'll put a tick next to that. Sounds quite good. I've got another one here. It's called "I've Started, So I'll Finish."
Oh, nice. But something interrupts me. What interrupts me? Is it a bell?
Yeah, it could just be a small, or maybe a dog. If you've got a
dog barking.
Yeah.
Or just an interruption from a neighbour or something.
Just something to shake the audience up, and then you go, "Ooh, what was that?" And then you continue.
I like it. I'll try and introduce it, yeah.
And we'll go with, I've got a few, but we'll just go with this one. Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I like that, but I think it would only work in particular contexts.
But no, I think you could, easy for you to say. And then you talk about maybe something that you don't have difficulty in.
What I'll do, I'll try these out as we continue the podcast, and you rate them and see how they go.
Oh, yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, thank you for taking that in hand, Rachel. Now, Rachel, does it feel good to take a job from an ethnic minority comedian?
Yes. I've started, so I'll finish. I wouldn't have enjoyed taking it if Nish hadn't left of his own accord. He wasn't bullied by me.
Right.
That's what the lawyers are saying, out of the job. It wasn't my fault. And he signed his name to that.
You're doing air quotes. It sounds like you're doing air quotes.
No, this isn't recorded, is it? So you can't see what I'm doing, so there's no proof one way or another.
And also, Martin, she's just speaking lawyer speak, which is a very wonderful... Actually, it's a language I respect, Rachel.
Thank you, Harriet. I neither deny nor confirm anything regarding Nish Kumar.
They've taught you well.
Easy. That's easy for you to say.
No, I wouldn't put it there, Martin. I don't think that was the best place for it.
You did a very good job with that. I've started self-finish. I just wanted to join in. It doesn't matter. I just derailed this.
Now, Martin sort of wanged on about improv for a bit, but you don't just satirise the news, do you? You also satirise Jane Austen.
That's right.
Ostentatious.
That's right, yeah.
So what is it, and why do you only satirise a female writer?
Improv is making up scenes or games or performing to people in a way which is completely unplanned and unscripted. It's usually based on a suggestion or suggestions from the audience, and you can do it as a group or a duo or on your own.
It's sort of making it up as you go along.
It's making it up as you go along, yeah, exactly. And there's lots of different ways to do it. The way we do it is to build a whole story with a cast of characters over the course of a couple of hours from an audience title. And the reason that we chose to do it about a female writer is because she's so popular. So that's good for women, really, isn't it? Because she's already an incredibly popular figure. So we wanted
she's on the money.
She's on the money. Yeah, she wasn't on the money when we started, but she is now.
That was from a rather silly campaign. I mean, I don't know if that counts.
Oh, I love Caroline Criado Perez. I thought that she did a fantastic job, bringing a woman who's really respected for her art.
Well,
and craft.
it was just a bit unnecessary. I mean, I think that time could have gone into campaigning to get Ian Duncan Smith on the notes.
Is that who you choose?
Well, him or Winston Churchill. I just think there are other people that might have been better. Instead of, look, I've got nothing against Jane Austen. I liked Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. I thought it was wonderful. But let's have the sensible people on the notes, please. Let's just have them on.
Do you mean men, or do you mean non-writers?
No, I just mean the people in charge, sensible people, serious people.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I mean, sorry, I just.
It's one of those sort of trigger words, isn't it?
Thorny issues.
It's just. I mean, I just don't. No, I just don't. I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. I won't do it.
Right.
I won't do it. This obsession with asking female broadcasters whether they're a feminist.
I consider myself a feminist, Rachel.
Martin, no one's asking you. They don't care.
You're right, and I should give you space because there's enough male voices in this male-dominated environment.
So let's stop.
Easy for you to say.
Oh, there we go. That was
perfectly
deployed. Oh, this is great.
Rachel,
the thing is, Harriet, I wouldn't ask most women if they were a feminist. I've never asked anyone that on broadcast. Actually, I'm only asking you because I'm interested.
I mean, sorry.
Do you think that you're up to, say, a job, a political job,
yes.
or if you had the relevant interests and qualifications, would you think that you were as up to the task as any man would be?
Well, I mean,
I think you would.
Yes, of course I would. Yes,
yeah.
Of course I know things.
I believe in you, Harriet.
But this isn't about me, Rachel. This is an interview about you. And what I want to know is that, you've done lots of things. You've done TV, radio, stage, podcasts. Are you, Rachel, ever tempted to jack it all in, get married and have a baby like a normal woman?
Well, I've done that. I didn't jack it in. I'm married and I've got a baby. So I did it. I did
husband.
both.
Your poor husband. What?
He's okay, really.
Is he having to? Oh my goodness! Is he having to do everything?
No, we
the nanny.
Both just share.
You've got a nanny. Yeah.
We just share it. We share the work of.
So, almost like a normal family.
Though, do you know what?
Like a normal family, yeah.
But this is the thing with today, is so much is expected of men. I mean, so much. My heart goes out to them. Yes, it's so hard being a man these days. I mean, you're expected to do so much. So much.
I would say he's expected to go to work sometimes and to look after the baby sometimes and to be a good husband sometimes, and I'm expected to go to work sometimes and look after the baby sometimes and be a nice wife sometimes
and do some improv about Jane Austen.
Yeah, but
absolute biscuit.
He doesn't ask me to do that. I quite like doing it. So I don't know that we ask. I think we ask more of men than we used to, because we ask them, I think now perhaps, to adhere to a better behavioural code and to understand things that should have been understood for centuries.
Well, Rachel, it was nice having you on, and thank you for giving your viewpoint on things.
Thank you for having me, Harriet, and I'm using the word nice in inverted commas in the same way that you did.
And another thing, we'd
nice.
Like
I like that one, Martin. I like
in
that
future if you ever do care to come back on.
I'd love to.
Okay, good.
It's really important. If I can just say this before I go, I've been told, that it's really important to not just preach to the choir, to have your bubble and talk. So, I really like, coming on and talking to you, Harriet, because it's important to speak to people who you might not agree with and try and, influence them.
Yes, I'm all for that. I'm all about. Martin will tell you, I'm always talking to people who I don't agree with. It's really good of me. Martin, for one. Actually, I don't listen to Martin, though. I talk to him.
One-way street, isn't it? Yeah, talk.
Yes. Right. I think that's probably the way to do it.
Again, Martin, I'm emailing you a few links to some helplines. If that's okay.
Well, that was the show. Please do pop in again next week, because we have another show, don't we? And it'll be our Christmas special, that, Martin.
Oh, yo ho ho! And a bottle of eggnog. I've got my pirates and Santa confused there. Do get in touch and let us know what you're thinking about the show so far. Leave us a review, why don't you? 5 stars, please. That would be a nice little Christmas present. And why not a little compliment? Or, we don't want to...
Yeah, we deserve that. We deserve that this year. We have been good.
Exactly. Just some nice words would be all that we're asking for.
With thanks to Rosie Holt, Brendan Murphy, Suze Kempner, Ed Morris, and special guest Rachel Parris. See you next week for some more Non-Censored.